Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing well. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you. I've never done this before, so hang in there with me. Let's see how it goes. But basically I got the idea for this video a couple of days ago because if I'm going to be honest, this past week has been really difficult for me. I've been struggling a lot with my mental health. I've been feeling really anxious and nervous and overwhelmed and just stressed out. And there's just nothing that helped me. No matter what I did, I just kind of stuck in this state of mind. And I felt it especially in the evenings, when you're supposed to wind down from the day. Usually I have a couple of hobbies that I like to turn to, and usually they do help with my anxiety and help me kind of take the edge off. But again, I was just stuck in the state of feeling completely overwhelmed and nothing helped no matter what I did. And one evening a couple of days ago, I realized that I needed to kind of step away from the things that I usually do and just try something else, because I realized that even with the hobbies that I love, with the things that I love to do in my free time, I put so much pressure on myself to be good at them, to reach certain goals, to perform in a certain way, even if it's just for myself. I always, I always have this huge need to be productive. I don't really let myself rest. And, for example, in my free time, I love, playing instruments. I love learning languages. Oh my God, that sounds so, oh my God, it sounds like I'm so intellectual. Like, look at me. Just because I love doing them does not mean that I'm good at them. Just, I love doing them. And I love doing creative things like drawing and crocheting, and I love working out. And again, with all of these things, there are goals I want to reach, there are results that I want to see, and when I don't perform in the way that I expect myself to, I'm disappointed in myself. And so even though I love doing these things in my free time, I really do love doing them. There's sometimes there's a certain level of stress that comes with them. And when you're stressed out, just in general, it doesn't make it easier. And so I realized that I really need something where I don't feel any pressure to perform in any certain way. And I do have two activities that I love very much, and those activities are puzzles and coloring. But I so rarely allow myself to do them because they don't fulfill that need for productivity that I have. The minute that I sit down and do either of those things, there's that voice in my head that tells me, get up, do something else. This feels useless, just babbling on in the back of my mind, just making me more stressed out. But, activities like that where I don't put any pressure on myself, they're so essential for my mental health. And again, I allow myself so rarely to do them. But this one evening a couple of days ago, I was so done with feeling the way I've been feeling that I just sat down and told myself, okay, I'm just gonna whip out my coloring book. I always buy them and then I never use them. And this evening I just decided, okay, I'm just going to commit to it, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to finish at least one page. And it was a battle at first, I'm going to be honest. It took me probably like 15-20 minutes to get into it and to kind of tune out that voice and not to listen to it and not immediately get up and do something that feels productive. But then after I kind of tune out that voice, I really started to enjoy myself and enjoy the activity. And after it took me, I think, an hour or so, I felt so much better. It was so nice. And also the next morning, I felt so much better, so much more calmer. And then I promised myself that I would do it more often. But I know myself, and realistically, even if I'm going to tell myself, okay, I'll color at least once a week for, 20 minutes, realistically, I'm not going to do it. So I had the idea that I would combine my love for making videos with this activity, with coloring. And at least this way, I will force myself to sit down and do it. And hopefully, it will, benefit me in the same way. So it's already late at night right now, but, kind of struggling again a little bit. So I thought I'd, sit down and whip out my good old coloring book and have a chat with you, maybe tell you about my week, kind of, you know, dump all my emotions onto you, and maybe I'll feel better afterwards. You know how it is with the internet. This is how we do it, right? But maybe you can sit down with me, and maybe you wanna whip out your coloring book or do any sort of activity that will benefit your mental health, benefit you calming down. So yeah, let's try it. Let's calm down together and have a little bit of a chit chat. So first things first, I'm really sorry about the setup. I kind of have had to whip up something because I don't really have an ideal situation. I don't really have a desk where I can sit on, so I kind of had to improvise a little bit. I hope you don't mind. It's not that aesthetic. It's not that pretty. I'm really sorry. I hope you don't mind. I kind of, had to improvise a little bit. But we're here for a good time. We're not here to perform, right? I hope you don't mind. But this is my, just flashing you, this is my coloring book. It's basically, sometimes there are people who don't have any clothes on, but sometimes they are already dressed. In the front you have like stickers where you can dress them. It's really cute. But I wanna color, so I'm gonna choose someone who's already dressed. I'm gonna show you what I did the other night very proudly. This is my artwork. This is my absolute masterpiece. I hope you're proud of me. That is so funny. It looks kind of crazy on camera, no? The eyes are kind of crazy. Ooh. Now that I look at it, but it's cute. It's really cute. Yeah, this is I haven't named them, but this is who helped me calm down the other night. So let's choose our next fighter who will hopefully beat the anxiety for tonight. All right? Is this cute? Let's see who we. Oh, this is also cute. Oh, you know what? I love the hat. I want to have that myself. Oh my god, that's so cute. Can someone tell me where I can buy a hat like that? That's so cute. I love that. Who else do we have? I think we're gonna go with her or him. It doesn't have to have a gender. Who cares? Should we go with them? Oh, the first one was also cute. Oh my god, oh my god. The decisions already. It's so stressful. Okay, you know what? I wish you could tell me. I wish I had someone to answer me right now. Okay, let's go with the bear head. Bear head? That's cute, right? Okay, let's go with that. And afterwards, I'm gonna look up where I can buy a hat like that because that's really cute. Okay, now also difficult part. Which colors are we gonna go for? Okay. So I decided that while I'm, as I said, while I'm gonna color, I'm just gonna have a little bit of a chit chat with you, just dump all my emotions onto you. But let's start with coloring. What color do we want to do the hat? Because it's so cute. I'd like to do it in kind of a gray, but I don't think I have the right kind of gray. Okay, let's just start. Let's just start somewhere. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter even if it's ugly. Okay. So, where do I start? My past week has started going downhill when my mom called me one night. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a warning. I'm gonna talk about death and grieving and that sort of emotional spectrum. Yeah, my mom called me one night and told me the devastating news that a family friend has very unexpectedly passed away. And I wasn't that close with him, but I've known him for a very long time, maybe at least 10 years, maybe even 15 years. He was an older man, but not that old, and also he didn't have any serious health issues in the sense that you'd or you might have an inkling that something like this is going to happen. So it was just very, very unexpected. Not that long ago, I lost someone really close to me, and it was also extremely unexpected, and also I got the message late at night, so it felt very similar in the way that everything happened, and that was just really horrible, and I didn't know what to do with myself last week when I got that message. It was just, when things like that happen, I never, when you get unexpected news, it's just, or when something just bad happens in general, I'm always so, I know exactly what I'm feeling and I try to talk to people about it, but still, I just soak up everything and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like a kitchen sponge that you just did the dishes with, and it's like really soaked up with all the dirty dishwater, and you leave it on the sink, and then it kind of just stays wet because you didn't scrunch it out, you didn't wring it out, and then it just stays wet, and you leave it on the counter and it gets like moldy and disgusting, and then after a week you touch it and you realize that it's disgusting and filled with bacteria, and that's what I feel like. I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but that's, if I had to describe myself in that moment, that's what I feel like, just within seconds, just a big fat sponge. My head just kind of starts going in all kinds of directions, and then I think about how he was, I don't know if he was suffering, if he was, just all the circumstances, and I think about his family, and it just, my head goes at a million miles an hour, and I can't move away from that spiral of thoughts, and it's just extremely difficult. Also, dealing with grief is just such a horrible and unique experience. It's like nothing I have ever felt before. It's so all consuming and just so devastating. When I felt it for the first time, I keep thinking, how do people go through this, and how do we go through the loss of, how do we go through the motion of losing someone we love and just continue? Millions of people have lost someone who's extremely close to them, and we all just still get up every day and try to, go on with our lives. And it's such a, how do we do that? Because, oh my god, I still don't know how I'm dealing with all of these feelings, because it's just so devastating. It's so, if you've lost someone really close to you and you were extremely shattered by it, my heart goes out to you. It's such a, man, it's such a devastating experience. It's, as I said, it's so all consuming. And so I was also so devastated when he passed away, as I said, because it was very, very unexpected. And also, I'm closer to his family than I was to him. And so I just felt so already so anxious how they, just seeing them, hearing about how they're dealing with it. And then, when my mom, because my mom is even closer with them than I am, my mom called me and told me about how they were reacting. I was so shocked because I did not expect it. And it just, this past week, oh my god, I've been feeling so many emotions. But basically, I don't know how to do this respectfully, but I'm not going to go too deep into it, because it's not really my, it's not really my story to tell. But basically, the man who passed away, he kind of had a difficult relationship with his family. They were kind of, had a bit of a strained relationship. He, basically his son is in a relationship with a woman, and the woman and the dad, I don't know if that's gonna get confusing, but they don't get along that well. They were never close, and so basically the relationship between the son and the dad also got really strained, because she kind of went in between them, and because of that, he also very rarely saw his grandkids. And I know how sad he was about it, because whenever, I saw him not that long ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago or something, and even then he was talking about how sad he is that he rarely sees his grandkids and his son. And just whenever, also he saw my mom more than he saw me, but he kept bringing it up, so it was very obvious that it was really sad for him, and that he was suffering underneath that strained relationship, because they used to be really close, him and his son, and obviously he wanted to have a relationship with his grandkids. And the thing that, now that he's passed away, there's some inheritance, there's possibly a great amount of money that they're going to inherit. And it's just baffling to me when you give people a little bit of money, or a little bit, even the possibility of money and power. It's wild how quickly people show their true colors. It's, oh my god. Every time my mom calls me and tells me about what's going on, and honestly, the lines, the shit that they have said in this past week, it's mind-boggling to me. I'm like, where's the hidden camera? What in the social experiment is this? Is this a Broadway play? Where's the stage? Where are the lights? Is this my role? What the flip is going on? Because it's just genuinely, it's mind baffling, and I'm not gonna even repeat some of the things that have been said because it's just so disrespectful. Even if you don't like someone, even if you don't like someone, but if they are in bad health or they are suffering or they have passed, I think there's a certain level of respect you should show someone. Obviously there are some people out there who do not deserve having someone standing over their graves and crying and grieving. There are some real monsters out there, but that man was not a monster and he was not a bad person. There's no way to rationalize the things that they have been saying or they have been dealing with it. It's just really upsetting to me, and I know that it's not my story to tell, it's not my family, so I shouldn't get so upset over it. But just having heard him talking about how sad he is that his family life is so shattered not that long ago, and then hearing them how they're talking in such disrespectful ways, it just left me really heartbroken, honestly. And I know sometimes when we grieve, we might do or say things that just seem ridiculous and that cannot be explained in any way besides the fact that you are grieving and you don't know how to be a human at at this exact moment. But because I know them, I know that I know that this cannot be explained with them grieving because they, have already acted really in disrespectful ways in the past, not just towards their family, but also my family. So I don't know. I keep thinking about it and I cannot really let go of it because it honestly breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart how some people can be so cruel and just so morally corrupt. It's just, what does money and power do to people? It's just baffling to me. It's so sad. And after that whole experience, I wasn't really, for a couple of days I was really out of it because it was again the whole sponge situation. I was just soaked up with emotions and I couldn't really move on from it. I just in general, I have a hard time moving on from things, and I cling to situations and emotions, and it's really difficult for me to let go, to wring myself out. And as I said, I everything that came with that situation really clung to me for a couple of days. And then after a couple of days, when I finally felt like I kind of was able to calm down a little bit, my dog started acting up, in the sense that one night she just randomly started throwing up all throughout the night, and I still don't really know what caused it. It just came again out of nowhere. And it really freaked me out because she's a really healthy dog. She's never had any health issues. And so I was extremely concerned, and it really freaked me out in the moment. And again, I made it, it wasn't a life threatening situation. It was concerning, yes, definitely. But I made it again something really, really huge in that moment. And I just don't help myself, in situations like that because, yes, it's concerning, but I shouldn't, freak myself out so much because that just does not help anybody. I think it also felt way worse because it was the middle of the night. And I think everything just kind of feels worse when it's the middle of the night. And so I felt just really helpless. And then, we didn't really sleep that night because I couldn't really fall asleep because I was just worried about her. And then, but she was acting fine, besides the throwing up, she was her usual self. There was nothing that was really actually, besides the throwing up, there wasn't any indicator that there was something seriously wrong, because I Googled and there was no blood. She wasn't acting any different. So at some point I did fall asleep, but then woke up really early again. And I gave her breakfast, just a very small portion. And then after a couple of hours, she threw up again twice. And that again just freaked me out even more. And I told myself that if she was going to throw up again by lunchtime, I was going to take her to the vet. But then luckily she stopped throwing up, and I kept her on a diet of chicken and rice for a couple of days, and now everything is fine again. So I have absolutely no idea what caused it, but I was really worried, and again I just blew up, and I really spiraled in that moment because health in general is very, very sensitive topic to me. But I'm so glad that she's feeling better. But yeah, that was a really difficult situation in that moment. And yeah, then I tried to just again calm myself down. Nothing really worked. I was just so overwhelmed with everything, and I just really couldn't get out of that state of mind of just being overwhelmed. And then the last couple of days, basically yesterday and the day before that, I got a fat migraine. I stayed in bed for 2 days straight, which is insane for me because usually when I get a migraine, I pop some pills, take some migraine medicine, and then most of the times I'll feel better. But this time I was just completely knocked out and nothing helped. So I couldn't do anything besides stay in bed for 2 days. The only thing that's good about that whole situation is that I finished 2 audiobooks, which, good for me. But I definitely overdid it today again because in the morning I did some work, and then I went out and I ran some errands, and I overdid it, and I really felt it now this evening again because I right before starting filming this video, actually I was centimeters away from having a big old fat panic attack, and I feel anxious a lot, and on a daily basis I feel anxious, but it's always, if I describe it, it's a constant level of anxiety just all throughout my days, every day, all day, every day. But it's just always right underneath having a panic attack. So panic attacks are rare for me, but when they do happen, it's obviously a horrible experience. What can I say? So I think I completely overdid it today. I just, after having been knocked out for the past 2 days, I should have rested today again. You know, obviously I had work to do, so that's important, but I should have given my body more time to rest. I'm so bad at that, man. You know, I'm so bad at it. So I almost had a panic attack, but I was able to stop it, luckily, and now I'm here with you. And I think coloring really helps. This is such a wonderful activity, man. I'm so mad at myself that I never do this. Why are we all so hard on ourselves, honestly? Why is that? Why can't we, you know, when you're a kid, everyone is proud of you when you just sit there and you color for hours. But then when you're an adult, it just feels not stupid, but you know, we have other things to do. I think we should all just do more activities that we loved doing as a kid, because isn't that a lot of the times what truly makes us happy? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? What did you love doing as a kid? If you want to share that, I would love hearing about that. I really loved arts and crafts. That was honestly what I always lost myself in. That was an activity that I really, really loved. So I am gonna stop now because it's already really late at night and I am really tired. But this is how much I have colored. It took me longer than expected. It always takes so long, but it was honestly so calming. And if you've gotten this far in the video, I am extremely thankful. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. I don't even know what I'm gonna think of this video when I'm gonna edit it, if I'm gonna like it or hate it. But yeah, again, thank you for listening to me. I hope that you maybe calmed down a little bit with me, that maybe you also participated in some sort of nice activity, whether you colored or you just listened or you, I don't know, whipped out your crochet project. I hope you had fun. I hope, again, that you had the chance to calm down a little bit with me, that you've gotten something out of me rambling on. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sending you all the best. I truly hope that you're doing well. And hopefully, I will see you again next time. Have a lovely rest of your night or morning or day or whenever you're watching this. And again, hopefully see you next time. Bye!